Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Asaph Cafe. I'm your host, Asaph Adonai, and on my immediate left we have Dan West, and he is sitting in with me in this version of Asaph Cafe. Now, Dan appeared with me, what, a year or two ago, something like that? You did some cafes.
Yeah, 2014.
Something like that, yeah. So anyway, through the magic of green screen technology, Dan and I have placed ourselves on Back to the Future. Isn't that cool? Isn't that a cool backdrop? Back to the Future with Michael J. Fox. And I can't think of the other, Christopher Lloyd, yeah, the professor. So how you been, Dan?
Good.
Good.
Very good.
I haven't seen you in a while, just off and on here since you
yeah.
appeared on the cafes there.
Oh yeah, it's been working hard and
What kind of work are you doing now these days?
Well, I quit my job at Taco Tree.
Okay.
Had some, health issues that
Oh,
I
sorry to
still
hear
work through. That's all right.
So your health is okay?
It's okay, just not up to par for dishwashing. So.
Well, you'll bounce back. But so what kind of stuff are you doing now these days?
Right now, I'm working on crafts. Learning to pickle, make my own leather stuff, and all sorts of interesting things.
Well, you're looking a lot more fuller and healthier, and you've been working out and all that.
Every day is a workout.
There you go. You keep working out, you're going to be skinny like me one day. No, just kidding. It's a joke. Well, it's good to have you on the show today. Let's see. I assume you saw all three of these movies, right?
Yes.
What did you think of these Back to the Future movies?
I really like them. I try to avoid watching them because then I just get all giddy and looking for gears, looking for riddles, and
yeah, and you don't want to read too much into it. It's just a movie, So,
yeah.
But I just thought it was fun. It kind of reminded me of Star Trek a lot too. In some ways.
Yeah, I mean, there's that astropunk sort of aspect to it. I mean, you got the steampunk, you got the astropunk and the.
Well, see, what I liked about this film, see if you remember, I had to rely on my memory because it's been a while since I've seen these movies. And number one, if I recall, he had the almanac, where he can, let me say it again. And number one, he goes to the past, he meets his mother, and he had a pair of jeans called Calvin Klein, so his mother thought his name was Calvin Klein. So he meets his mom-to-be when she was a teenager, and I found that interesting, because, when you think of your parents, you don't think of them as young, you don't think of them as teenagers or, when they were kids, you just think of them as mom and dad, kind of thing. And it was funny because his mom had a crush on him, on Michael J. Fox, not realizing that was going to be his son one day because he's in the past.
I think of all the what ifs with Back to the Future first movie. It's more goes into Back to the Future 2, where it's 2015. It's in the future, but first one you got all what ifs, different paradox scenarios of other dimensions that go into the framework. So.
Well, see, with number one, when he gets sent back to the future, he didn't want to go back to the future because the day he goes back to the future, the professor was going to be killed. So what he did was he wrote a note to the young professor saying, you're going to be shot or whatever. So when Fox goes back to the future and the professor gets shot, he doesn't die because he had gotten a warning from the past. But what was interesting was in Back to the Future 2, from what I remember, Biff got that almanac. So he was able, instead of predicting the future as far as like horse racing and stuff, he already had the information. So that's how he was able to become this millionaire in number 2. So they had to go back to the past to the point where he got the almanac to prevent him from getting it to become that millionaire in number 2.
That goes into questions of ethics.
Kind of like Star Trek.
That's more like ethics and prophecy. How does prophecy work into what you should and could do? I like that.
And it's just all science fiction, and stuff like that. And then I think number 3 just restores everything to number 1. So that's kind of the general synopsis of it, But these were just fun movies to watch, and Michael J. Fox was just such a fun actor.
Yeah, I think number 3 is more of a creation. It's like it separates. It kind of creates from the first one. So with the rumor that I heard recently, that there's a new one coming out like right now.
Oh, I believe you. I haven't heard about it or seen anything about it. So it'll probably be an update or to the Back to the Future movies, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, it takes place. It takes place later. So Michael J. Fox, the actor, is older. He's more.
Oh, I see.
More reserved, more calm, and.
Do you know who's putting the film out?
I really don't know. All I know is I saw the preview, and I keep hearing back and forth urban legend of this Doc Brown being in 1,001 Ways to Die and all these other things.
Okay,
So
I see. Yeah.
it's kind of creeping up on all of us. So I'm looking forward to it.
I see. So, what did you think of these Back to the Future movies? You enjoyed them?
Oh yeah, I still do. No, I grew up with
Stuff on
them.
that note. Yeah.
I'm a millennial, so yeah.
Yeah, they're just fun movies. Emma's gonna come in and say hi with us to us for a minute. You can just sit right here. Are they done, Emma?
Hello, neighbor.
They are done.
Emmett, this is Dan.
Yes, I know. I've known him for a few years.
Well, you can just stand here
Yeah.
next to me and get on the set of Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah, I remember this movie. Yes.
And they were fun films. Let me just label this for him. And
Yeah,
I'll send him on his way.
I remember them. It's kind of tying into what you and I were talking about in the last one.
Yeah.
Too much plot and characters. If I might briefly debate with you just for a few minutes. I gotta go soon. Well, I saw Back to the Future when it came out in 1985. A friend of mine, was just living in Missouri at the time on 4th Street, and he was just 10 years old and really nice person. I just moved and said, and I liked him. He was a really cool kid. He said, I really liked Back to the Future. It was a really good movie. You should really go see Back to the Future. I trust him. I said, he's a wonderful kid. He's just one of nice kind. He must have something good to it.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't doing anything. I had a few dollars burning a hole in my pocket. It was Saturday, or it was going to be Saturday, so took off. I'd done my chores, and I went to see Back to the Future. I was bored by it. Completely bored.
Really?
Was it supposed to be a comedy?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It was?
It was
It's
a comedy.
I believe it's an art form, but
Science
yeah.
fiction,
Oh, I know
science
I meant-
fiction comedy is
I didn't
what
laugh
it
once.
was.
Not even once.
Oh boy.
And I could not relate to it at all. It had a science fiction theme, but like you and I were talking about when we were talking about superheroes, this is where, unfortunately, science fiction was put into the backdrop, literally, and it was about plot and characters I couldn't relate to. I mean, I was bullied in high school and everything in school, but it was a lot more violent. And if you're bullied, it's a violent thing where you have to really fight. One punch isn't going to do anything. And the idea of it was a big book, calling somebody shorty, I can't even relate to that because, so what if they call you shorty? I mean, it was about a coming of age, kind of like that movie that George Lucas made called, what was that coming of age movie George Lucas made? And I've forgotten the name of it. It was so stupid. Breaking Away.
Okay.
It was basically Back to the Future. He tried to repair some stuff in his high school past. And it had a girlfriend and something that I couldn't relate to. The Giardia, not the Giardia, that's a good name for the car, but whatever the car's name was. DeLorean, the Giardia. You might as well, took him back to the future, and then the past and the Back to the Future. But it was, to me, science fiction should not be about plot and characters like that. If it is, it should be like Star Wars, something we
Well,
can
see,
relate
that's
to.
interesting. Everybody has their different style of what they perceive science fiction. Emmett's into the real science fiction, the lasers and that sort of thing.
I'm more into fantasy, so I get really interested when people are bored. So
I love heroic fantasy like Conan the Barbarian and the Sword and the Sorcerer and the Beastmaster. I love that kind of fantasy.
Yeah, see,
is that what you're talking about? Fantasy,
kind of like Page Master, yeah.
We put ourselves on the backdrop of
Conan the Barbarian. I love those.
A few weeks ago, we just did. I'll have to send
I
that to you.
love that. But it's kind of interesting. Were you guys a fan of the Back to the Future movies?
I liked them. I found them interesting from a synopsis point of view.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate them?
No, I like the whole idea of multiverse. So I've been studying multiverse since middle school. So this got me into the idea of what string theory and fractions are.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
So,
Multiverses. But then again, the DeLorean could have gone to a multiverse where they used fascinating aliens and cube-shaped aliens, and they fought lasers and had to defend our universe from... I did a story in high school about a multiverse. It was called Hyperbots, the defenders of the Hyperverse. Now remember the Transformers and the GoBots? And the story? We had to, in English class, we had to make a story about the beginning, middle, and end, and I wanted to do something similar, but I didn't want to just do another bunch of robots that transform. Have you ever heard of a tesseract? A fifth dimension, a hypercube, a tesseract?
I've heard of hypercube.
Yes, tesseract, a fourth dimension shadow of a fifth dimensional object.
Okay.
Now
So
what if there was a hyperverse? It would be like a hyperverse in 5 dimensions, not 3.
Okay.
There were 3 robots I had, and they were in the 5th dimensional universe called the Hyperverse. They were made by a council that was because our universe and the Hyperverse was separating. It's just separating. Oh, by the way, folks, somewhere, I think it expired, but somewhere, I think I have this written, a copy by the Writers Guild of America in California, so no one can steal it. Copyrighted. Don't steal this idea, but well, someone did. But anyway, they were Toberan Gatnyam, that's Maytag spelled backwards, and D88 or something like X51, and they were to bring the universes back together. The pivotal point came in English, you had to write the assignment, was that the council wanted the hyperbots with their powers to separate the universes, destroy both so that the council could rule! And the hyperbots were not programmed for evil. They had forgotten to do that, so they had to save the hyperverse, and there was these big galactic battles and say, lasers, and also like in Star Wars and
I didn't see this, I know nothing.
well, it's not a movie, it's a story I made up in
Oh, I
high
see.
school. I made up a story. I would love it in a movie. And then finally the Hyperbots defeated the evil council. A new council was formed and they went out into the Hyperverse. I've written a few stories, but I'm into that kind of thing.
Okay.
That's what the DeLorean should have done in Back to the Future.
Oh,
something
I
like
see
the
where he's
Hyperverse or science fiction rather than plot and characters again. Why?
Well, Sherlock
Always
Holmes.
plot characters about people in high school you can't relate to. Isn't it frustrating?
Well, they go with the buddy comedies. The buddy comedies are more or less cop films or detective
You
stories.
talking about from the past? Yeah.
Well, the genre itself, they tried something different. Instead of a detective story, they tried more of an adventure story with the same buddy plot.
Oh, I see.
So you have the buddy plot that's usually like going back to Sherlock Holmes,
Okay.
which was pretty much the first. You have Watson and Sherlock, and so you have this same theme, and they're just moving it into, like, if you cross Sherlock Holmes and Time Machine,
Oh,
that's
okay.
what they have.
But it
You
really
got
wasn't
your-
lasers and it wasn't spaceships. They went back to high school to fix some things in high school.
Oh, you're talking about the
With,
movie?
yes, the Back to the Future. I didn't see the others.
Okay.
After the first Back to the Future, I mean, I loved my friend. He was a wonderful person. But my 10-year-old friend just really two different completely styles of movies. I didn't even want to see the others. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, the first Back to the Future, that was a 1.
Oh, wow.
It is.
That
He's
was
probably
a
the only one
disaster.
thinking that.
One.
You got your movie,
First
right?
one.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I do. How would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10?
I thought it was funny. I would rate it at least an 8.
I would definitely rate it high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
But it was about plot and characters in high school. That's something you
No,
and I
there was
can't
more
relate
to it. There was more to it than that, Emmett. He went back to the past, and when he was going back to the
Yes.
past, he met his parents before they
Yes,
became
I
his
know,
parents,
I
and,
know.
you know, that sort of thing. And I just found it amusing.
You know, I
And he
just,
saved the life of his professor friend too.
yeah.
I have a question.
But it wasn't from an alien. It wasn't from a giant robot. It
No,
was from
I have a question. If the time machine hit a pulsar
Yes.
and then reverted around, like how do they identify the black masses in space and time and all that other stuff? I mean, how do you bend
You
that
know,
reality?
I don't know because it's been since 1985 since I saw Back to the
Yeah, we
Future.
got you know. In
And
all fairness, you
I
probably have to watch those
literally
movies
just
again.
remember
Oh,
only
yeah.
the boring plot and characters, and I was
Yeah.
just grateful that I left the movie theater. That was the only. I wasted $5.
Well, what do you think of this backdrop? Don't you think it's pretty cool backdrop?
It's nice, but again, where are the lasers? Where are the spaceships? Where are the There's
Yeah,
electricity.
he's more into the science fiction than the place.
But he has a cool 1980
Yeah,
stopwatch,
Christian Ackerman's
which doesn't fire any lasers.
Yeah.
They're not fighting alien robots. It's just like not really my kind of thing,
Yeah.
I know I'm probably insulting a lot of people. I respect it if people love Back to the Future. I mean, we've had staff who just love Back to the Future. I've debated with the same thing. I respect it. I don't want to dampen anyone's spirits if
I
they love
understand, yeah,
Back
yeah.
to the Future. Then again, I'm the type, I can't remember the guy's name. I have an old cheesy record from the 1960s of some guy who was singing old Christmas songs like you had here in the mall, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or Frosty the Snowman or Santa Claus is coming to town, in the old cheesy one that you would hear at a Southgate mall. And he was singing it, so I have a weird taste, in that. It would probably drive you guys crazy if I put that on.
Well, we love you, Emmett.
Thanks.
Hey, you better catch your bus. You better get going.
Yeah, all right, nice to see you guys.
You got your cafe, right?
Well, let's see, did I get my cafe? I
Let's
might
make
not
sure.
have.
I labeled it. Well, we were on the movie, the 1966 Batman film. Did you ever see this movie?
I used to love that TV show.
This is a movie from the TV show.
I don't know
It's
if
the
I've
same
seen the TV show. I mean, the movie.
Yeah,
So I've
it's
read
the
it?
same, and there's I'll give you the synopsis of this film in a moment.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I do have it. Wait, they made
Good.
it.
Well, I just wanted to make sure you got that
Thanks.
before you take off here.
Wait, they made a TV show series of Back to the Future?
No, Bill Nye the Science Guy had that. They had a cartoon series.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cartoon series? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They had a cartoon series of Back to the Future?
And Bill Nye the Science Guy introduced it all.
I did not know that. I want to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Well, Emmett, you have a good
Yeah,
afternoon
see you guys.
too.
Later.
You got everything, right?
yes, I do.
Thanks for the goodies too.
But I'm not trying to pick on anyone. who
Oh
likes
no
Back
no
to
no
the
no! We're
Future.
not taking it that way. That's what makes it.
Influences people, and it loves and inspires people to do better. That's wonderful.
That's cool.
See ya.
All right.
Later.
Thanks, Emmett.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to this here for a moment. Now, you saw you're familiar with the TV series, right? With
Yeah.
Adam West, because it's more
Vaguely,
fun.
it's far
and
back in my memory.
It's more
early
fun,
childhood.
not as serious like the Batman movies.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the synopsis of this film here: the Penguin, the Joker, Catwoman, and the Riddler, they unite forces, and they're going to try to take over the world. They always want to take over the world in the movies. So they go to the United Nations. They call it the World Nations. It's the same thing.
That's where they went wrong.
Yeah, they probably couldn't use the name United Nations. in the film.
They should have started in like a very small town.
Well, but anyway, the bad guys are going to try to take over in this movie, and it's just like watching a television series. They had the words and the screen when they had the fight scenes and all that. It's all the same, just movie version. So anyway, the bad guys are going to try to take over, right? And what they do, Commodore Schmidlap has this weapon that can take all the water out of your body and dehydrate you to dust, and then they rehydrate you later. So that's what the Riddler wanted. So in order to get this weapon, they set up this mirage of the yacht with the creator of the weapon. So Batman goes to check it out, and it's really a mirage, which is a trap set for him. So when he goes to investigate this ship, thinking that the guy was kidnapped and everything, the boat disappears. He falls into the water. When he's pulled out, there's this shark on his leg, and he's punching the shark. That was what was so funny about it. It's only in the movies, because if a shark grabs your leg for real, you're going to have a hump.
Oh yeah. At least a torn pair of pants.
Yeah, but it's a movie. So Batman, of course, doesn't get hurt. He's punching the shark, trying to get the shark off of him, because it was a mirage, this ship. And Robin comes down from the ladder on the helicopter. They put on autopilot. They spray the shark repellent. The shark falls off and blows up. So, because it was really a bomb set up by the Riddler.
Oh, that's cool.
That was the first attempt to get Batman, and it didn't work. So Catwoman, since she's in on it, she becomes this Russian reporter. They go to the press conference. They want to make sure Batman's okay, right? So that's how she can infiltrate. She becomes Miss Kitka, the Russian reporter, and she was only pretending to ask questions just to see if the plot worked, and it didn't, obviously, because they're having their press conference. And then the movie just climaxes from there. And
I mean, where the Riddler ever goes wrong is he calls himself the Riddler. Means he's contemplating the world. You know, like
yeah.
like answer my question. I cannot read your mind. You got it.
Yeah, I know. But you know that I know that this movie, like him and I were talking about in the other cafe we did a while ago before you came today, and it was silly but fun silly. You know, just family entertainment. It wasn't like really intense like the George Clooney Batman movies and all the rest of Michael Keaton and so on. Just fun, you know. And so Emmett, you know, you and I would understand like Back to the Future if he just likes the science fiction stuff
Oh
instead
yeah,
of
no,
story.
he like he kind of grimaces at me because I'm all about fantasy and storyline, and
Yeah.
he's like more about action.
Right?
So
But
yeah.
that's what makes him different, you know.
Yeah,
And
no,
so,
it's great, but
no,
I mean, we don't have a problem. We just see the
this is
barrier.
when, you know, when we talk like on the show.
Good neighbors.
I have to talk to where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he
Oh, yeah.
likes. Whereas with you, I can talk more about the storyline, like on this here,
Oh
this
yeah.
Batman movie, and so on. So, but I would recommend you see this film sometime if you get a chance. It's just called Batman the Movie, 1966. I'm sure they probably got it posted on YouTube or
Oh
something.
yeah.
Like
No,
that.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure you can. I mean,
Or Hulu
I usually
or-
buy a lot of my movies on Google Play. Like
Yeah,
Google
or,
Play
or
movies.
maybe
Google Play.
Amazon probably has it too.
So
I would
yeah.
imagine, you know. But it's just fun, old-fashioned, silly fun. But I think you get a kick out of it. But getting back to the Back to the Future, I ranked it very high. Entertainment, funny, and I like the plot line too. And it maybe didn't have a bunch of lasers, but I just thought it was interesting that he'd go back in the past, see how his parents lived, and so on. And all three of them, as far as I'm concerned, were just hits, just big hits. You know, I enjoyed them. So what else are you doing these days now?
Oh well, I mean, trying to get back in the swing of producing here at the TV
And you're in
station.
Castillo?
So going through therapy, like I said before, I quit my job at Taco Treat due to body fatigue. I had, working on nutrition, and
Good.
I'm shouting out to Max Muscle. Thank you for
Sure.
helping me recover, and Elite One Source here in
Okay.
Missoula. It's a
Cool.
local factory here
Okay.
in town. So.
Okay.
I go through Three Rivers Mental Health Solutions. I'm setting up a PSA right now.
So they're helping you with all that too and everything?
Yeah, they have been from the get-go.
Good,
So,
good.
I mean, part of the process of recovery, if you're on medication for any reason, is you check with your MD.
Right.
I mean, I didn't turn in my 2-week notice because of a sudden fatigue illness sort of thing.
Well, see, you're telling your
So-
story. It might help somebody else watching it.
Oh, yeah.
Do the
I mean, the
same thing.
process is plain and simple. If you're on medication, stay on your medication.
Right.
But make sure if you're working full-time like I was, make sure you check in with your medical doctor as well as your psychiatrist. I was doing everything with my psychiatrist, psychologist,
Cool.
but I was working with the nutritionist at Max Muscle, but I wasn't checking in with my MD.
Oh,
So,
I see.
yeah, so, but if I did that more often, if I set up a game plan with my MD, I would have to go back to woke rehab to start over. So
Right.
I was actually focused on a second job,
Mhm.
but my nutrition was falling apart. I was losing focus.
Okay.
My body was starting to shake. I was having overdose symptoms. So,
Right.
yeah.
Well, this is very noble and brave of you to talk about this. I don't want to put you on the spot, so you don't have to share anything you don't want to.
Oh.
But if this is helping somebody else, because somebody's going to see this
Oh,
later on today.
all I'm saying is what I was working on for my show, The Witching Hour. So, and the PSA and everything. So I was kind of identifying, because I'm a practitioner of witchcraft, and a lot of
Yeah.
people get the misconception that it's separate from medication. Alchemy is important.
Okay.
Pharmaceuticals and psychiatry comes from a religious. Before it went corporate, before it went government, it was a religious practice. It was spiritual on a deeper level.
Yeah.
The ethics.
Mhm.
So all the ethics in science, all the ethics in chemistry, all come from the grandfather of us all. Is so.
Mhm.
So I identify with people that are trying to separate from that. Say, I want to go natural. I'm like, your environment is unnatural. A lot of this environment is man-made. It's unnatural.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you want to go natural, you got to balance it. I mean, the environment, the medicines we have, help balance on a greater scale. It's on a molecular scale, so it's on a greater scale of involvement. So it's made in a lab. It's on a molecule scale, but you got to balance it out. You got to filter it out with proper nutrition, exercise, and sleep.
So, and that's what you're doing now, is just the nutrition and all that. Are you familiar with Jack LaLanne? Have you ever heard of him?
No.
Well, he's probably one of the best nutritionist guys that ever lived. He did everything naturally as far as what he ate and how he worked out. And he had an exercise show too. They didn't have the steroids and all. He just did everything naturally.
That is extreme mutation right there.
Well, he was very good at it, but he had been doing it all of his life. I mean, he got to the point where in his heyday, he could do push-ups with like this, one hand, effortlessly.
Nice, like Bruce Lee.
Yeah, they probably
Bruce Lee, you're my hero. I'll always be a dishwasher.
Bruce Lee, yeah. Yeah, but that's something that just takes a lifetime of work, you know, that kind of. But Jack LaLanne, you can look him up. He had the, what do you call the shape, and he was just a healthy guy. He lived to be something like 94. And what was impressive was when he was 70 years old, they tied some rope on his mouth and attached it to like these boats, these little tiny boats. And he swam across the Hudson River or whatever it was, pulling these boats. I don't remember how many it was, but he did it successfully. That's how good a shape he was in. And this was at 70. So, but you can look him up if you want to get some ideas for nutrition. I'm sure he must have some kind of.
My first hint on how like I like comparing science with like science and reality with mysticism and ethics of mysticism. Yeah. Along with translation, symbology in movies, music and stuff like that. I do a lot of finding the definitions from the symbolism in large amounts of books. I mean, books, internet, whatever I can do to find that pattern and use the scientific method to get the bulk of the information.
I see. Well, you can look up Jack LaLanne too and include that on there. That was his name, Jack LaLanne.
Yeah, the information I got on nutrition branched off from a book that took, like, I finally bought another copy, but it's been out of print for like 30, 40 years. It's a book that was referenced in a movie called Men Who Stare at Goats. It's called Psychic Discoveries Behind the Iron Curtain. I was reading that book back in 2006, 2007. Had a paperback, and it blew my mind. I couldn't stop relating it to everything, right? Okay. So empathy, psychology, all the mind and body. So it blew my mind on the nutrition plans that they had in there, and it was back in the 50s and 60s. This is the Cold War. This is before Chernobyl, right?
Okay. So this will help you to get healthier yourself as far as the nutrition part?
Yeah.
So you must have changed your diet then, huh?
Oh, constantly. Well, I mean, due to environment, due to our, like, smoke, all the things that affect us, due to, like, getting into a new house, you have all these chemicals in the house, and you got to balance that out. Either you gain a tolerance or you gain an allergy. And that allergy turns to canker turns to cancer. So. Well,
you know, I admit I don't know as much about those things as you do, but it's good for you to share this and talk with the television audience too about those things too, I think. Yeah. But you look a lot healthier from the last time I saw you, I think.
I try to be healthier every day.
You mind my asking how old you are? You don't have to. You don't.
Oh, I try to be about 24ish.
Okay, that's.
However, I'm 30.
Really.
I'm approaching 37. So.
37?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You know, today's Scott's birthday. Did you know that?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
He turns.
I ate his donut.
No, that was my donut.
Oh.
You can have it.
Oh.
So.
No, I know you offered it to me before the show, so. But,
well, no, Emmett gets a little sensitive, but he's a good guy.
Yeah.
But no, you can have it if you want it. I just had it there as a prop, but it's an edible donut.
Okay, I was going to cut it in half.
No, you might as well.
I'm a food junkie, so.
Well, I had this nature. This probably has more stuff in it than that donut.
Oh, I mean, does it have flaxseed?
I don't know.
I like flaxseed and cinnamon.
It was just
brain food.
It was just a little snack that I brought from home, so you know. So I don't know if you know this. I'm getting ready to turn 60.
Oh wow.
Yes.
You don't look an day over 40.
Well, I would try to keep it that way if I can help it. I don't have much control over that, but yeah, I didn't know if you knew that. Yeah, my 60th birthday's coming up.
Wow.
Coming up in October. So that'll be fun. And I assume, if you're here, you probably will be here. I assume Joel's going to make a big deal about it. So if they celebrate, you're more than welcome to come. You know,
Okay.
they'll probably have pizza. I know when I did my 100th Asaph Cafe at the time, Joel bought me this $60 cake, and we had it on camera. And then when we got to like 200, I think he did something else. So now that I'm about to turn 60, he'll probably make a big deal about that too. So I just want to invite you to that if you're here. How often are you here at MCAT Studio now?
Well, this is my second day.
Oh, you just came
I
back.
came back, yeah. I quit my job on the 15th. I was working 7 days a week.
That's a lot of work.
Oh yeah, no days off, very short breaks.
That's not good for your health, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I felt energetic, but by the time I get home, my body's falling down. You know, I'm shutting down as soon as I get home.
And you can only do that
So I was taking
much.
salt baths for muscle ache and any anything I got injured with at work.
Yeah.
So working with heavy chemicals, you're breathing in a lot of stuff too.
Oh
So
boy, that's really
yeah.
not good.
So I mean, my shirts had holes in them all the time. I was like, I couldn't afford to keep up with all my shirts.
Speaking of chemicals, I used to work at a hotel years ago. Well, this was a non-music job at that time. And I was cleaning bathrooms and rooms, and those chemicals were really wearing me out. I wound up quitting because I had trouble breathing after a while.
I was working with more and more antioxidants and multivitamins, and it's...
Yeah, and I was like, you know, my health is a little bit more important. Maybe I'm not one of those guys that can do that for 20 years like some people. So I resigned. Because, you know, when it gets to the point where your nose is dripping from breathing chemicals, I think your body's trying to tell you something.
Change your diet.
Yeah.
Or go to a hospital right now.
Yeah. No, I just nipped it in the bud and stopped, and then I just started breathing normal stuff, and I felt better later. But I didn't have a problem with the physical work. That wasn't the problem. It was just the chemicals. And even if they didn't have, like, say, Clorox or pine salt, it's the same thing, you know, just whatever the hotels use, which is just as potent, you know. So I'd quit. But yeah, I'm glad you're taking care of yourself and eating better, and that's good. And you're back here at MCAT. That's pretty cool.
It's part of the therapy. It's part of. I mean, if you're not working, you need therapy. So yeah.
Well, you'll be doing your work here. I have been doing, since I saw you last, little mini documentary stories. They're like 4 or 5 minute documentary stories.
Those are so cool.
Called Asaph Outline Stories. And so before we do a cafe, I do 2 stories a week. So these latest stories here, which I'll show you in a little bit. Suzanne Plachette, I don't think you would know her. She was on a show called The Newhart Show, Bob Newhart Show, back in the 70s. She played the wife. And Albert saw me. He was this character actor. You might recognize him if you saw him. He, oh gosh, I wouldn't even know how to... Are you familiar with Lost in Space?
Yes.
The original Lost in Space?
The old ones and the new one and the new series.
Do you remember the pirate, Alonzo P. Tucker? Pirate? The one with the silver bird on... That
goes back to early years.
Yeah, okay.
Twilight Zone.
He's one of those character actors. He's done like over 150 television shows and movies combined. He was in Kung Fu with David Carradine. I don't know if you would know that show.
I do know of it. I haven't seen a whole lot other than bits and pieces, but
well, you'll probably
I admire the
recognize
actor.
his face.
I do admire the actor, David Carradine.
Yeah. You do know that he was not a martial arts expert, don't you? He was a professional dancer.
He was a kick-your-ass expert.
Well, no. I know his character.
Sorry.
But I'm talking about he was a dancer in real life. So that's how come he was able to memorize those moves.
A lot of the martial artists come from like different backgrounds, like clown school. They go from like, I'm not talking McDonald's college. I'm talking about actual like stage school, acting school, clown school, circus school. Yeah. And they don't utilize any of their movements from actual fighting. They utilize it from falling off ropes. And
right, and you know they have to stage and choreograph the moves for the scenes and stuff.
Exactly.
But I didn't want to burst anyone's image of David Carradine if they thought he really was Kwachang Caine because he was a dancer.
I mean,
very limber dancer.
A lot of chi in that dance moves. I mean,
Right.
I Ching, chi.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
whatever the dancing he did, that's how they were able to pull that off.
Mm-hmm.
I think the exception to the rule would be Chuck Norris, maybe. Now, he was a real martial arts expert, but a lot of these guys are just actors, and they're able to memorize their stuff. It's just a bit of a little trivia history.
I mean, the whole idea of art, I mean, you have martial art. It's an art form.
It is.
When you separate from art, you create a style. So every time you go from one art to another art, and somewhere in between, as you're transferring back and forth, you're creating your own style.
Yeah.
And that's where the martial arts affect Hollywood. That's where they affect dancing. That's where they affect, aerial yoga. All that stuff is in between 2 different or 3 different or 4 different art forms, and it moves like water.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Right, but that's cool. But getting back to what you're doing here, so you're going to start doing all of your shows and producing things and doing projects here.
Yep. I'm ready. I'm working on a cookbook right now.
A cookbook?
Yeah.
One of those healthy cookbooks?
I got a book called The Wizard's Cookbook, and it inspired me to write my own cookbook. So after trying to maintain my health and stuff like that, I'm looking for like complimentary, like anything. Like I'll as I finish eating, or as I'm eating, or as I finish something, I'll open up the Wizard's Cookbook and be like, what am I going to have tomorrow? And then close it and put it away, and then start working on something else all together. So, yeah.
Well, congratulations on your cookbook. That's pretty cool. Let's see. I'm going to play a song for you. Tell me if you know this. See if you recognize it. Don't recognize it? Still on. Cop show. Don't know it. Still don't know, huh?
Law and Order?
That's it, yeah. Now do you recognize it? That was the theme of Law and Order. I'll do it again. Now do you recognize it? I'll stop right there, but that gives you an idea, yeah. I learned that version since I saw you last. I just thought I'd throw it in. It has nothing to do with Back to the Future. Just wanted to know if you knew it. So anyway, getting back to the Future, that's a beautiful backdrop that you and I are in. And when you show this to Christian, I think he's going to get a kick out of this.
I think so too.
Yeah. Hello, Christian. Awesome. If you see this, he'll probably see it. This will be loaded up about an hour from now. It doesn't take long to load up, and I'll give all this link information and everything. But getting back to these stories here, the reason I'm doing these stories is because I'm attempting to get a job with ABC News.
Nice.
I want to see if I can get a job telling these stories. And I don't get into their personal lives, like when you watch Entertainment Tonight. And I'm not trying to dog on that show. I just focus on their awards and contributions.
Who is their competition? If you didn't go there, who would you rather go to? If they said no way, we don't like people who play pianos.
Oh gosh, I don't know how to answer that. I hadn't even thought of that. Well, I'm shooting for ABC right now, just the whole ABC network. Okay. But if ABC turns me down, then eventually I'll try NBC, CBS, Fox, and all the rest.
I would go BBC, go straight to the top.
Well, I did send BBC one link to one of these stories, but what the odds of them getting that, though?
Well, you want them to fight like sharks, in a little tiny pond. So you work with the competition, you sit back and just do something else for a while.
Well, if BBC were to hire me, I'd put ABC on the back burner. I just chose ABC because you don't hear about them as much as you do CBS, NBC, it seems like to me, So I just thought I'd start that way. Eventually, I'll get these out to everyone. Now, as of today, I have 34 brand new stories posted on YouTube. I've done stories from everything like the Powerpuff Girls. I don't know if you know them or not.
No, I remember. I have foster sisters, foster brothers.
Yeah, I did a story on them and the actors who did the voices and so on.
That's cool.
And Taylor Momsen, I don't know if you know her. She played Cindy Lou Who in the movie with Jim Carrey. She's a rock star
Nice.
now.
I
She
really
has a
like Jim
group
Carrey.
Called, the Pretty Reckless, I think is the name of her group. It's just a rock group like all those other young people. She's only like, what, about 23, 24, something like that. So, I guess when you're in your early 20s, you have a rock group if you're a singer. Miley Cyrus did it. They all do it, But getting back to these stories here, I'm just wanted to tell stories. And this was Scott's idea to do these stories. And what's funny is because when he first asked me to do these stories, I said, no, I don't want to do no stories. A month later, he asked me a second time. I thought, okay, I better check into this. And I'm glad I did. They're just like 4 or 5 minute little history stories, pretty much, and stuff. I'll show you some. I'll send you a story.
Definitely, I need a link. I have
Yeah,
access to I mean, I have both storage and
Well,
DVDs
all these are loaded on YouTube too.
Nice.
But if I send you one, you can, do what you want. And like this episode of you and I doing now, you can feel free to use it,
Okay.
to expose it. You'll see Christian later, and hi Christian.
Oh.
I'm sure he's gonna like seeing you and I on Back to the Future.
Oh, I think so.
He's done a lot of these cafes when he was here.
I mean, he replaced. He put a poster on his office door when he had his main office here at MCAT.
Yeah.
He put his face. He replaced Marty McFly with himself. And he did that with every movie that came out from his childhood, and I just thought it was kind of cool. And when we made that connection, I'm like, Christian Ackerman's going to see this.
You'll see this cafe today too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
And so on. Now, are you still in touch with him?
I haven't been. I mean, I was working full time, so I haven't been in touch with anybody here.
Well, he's not here anymore at the moment.
No, I do. I've been watching him on YouTube, so
yeah, he's
been checking out his
Fast Coast production.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm happy that he's doing that. That's really cool. He was a good teacher. He taught me everything I needed to know here. He learned from California, brought Joel Baird's style from New York and just mashed it up right here. I just
Yeah.
take note of where I
was soaking
can.
in as much info as I could too with what he was teaching with time. This is one song that he wanted me to do for him once. I won't tell you the name of it, see if you know it. You reckon this is it?
Let's see.
These keys aren't working that well. Still don't know it? Tchaikovsky.
It's not Gloomy Sunday.
No. It's called The Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy.
Okay.
Christian wanted me to do that song for one of his projects once, but that door didn't quite seem to open. I guess he was busy doing everything, so I just thought I'd play that so when he sees us, he can hear it. It's from the Nutcracker Suite called The Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool song.
I heard they came out with a movie recently, or coming out with a movie recently.
Oh, I'm sure they're coming out with everything. They've got a lot of movies from TV shows coming out too, like Magnum P.I. I don't know if you
I've
know
heard of
that
it.
show.
I was more into Miami Vice back in the day.
Well, I'm sure. Oh, so you know that with Don Johnson?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure somebody will think of a Miami Vice movie one day if they haven't already.
They had a show for a while. I don't know if it's still around, but I was really happy with Don Johnson and Tubbs. I mean, I can't remember the other characters and actors' name, but
Philip Michael Thomas.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't heard that name in forever. I mean, I'm
well,
sure he's
that
playing
was a
jazz
very popular
or
show.
golf or something.
Yeah, that was a very popular show. But getting back to Magnum P.I., Tom Selleck, I don't know if you know him. He have you seen Blue Bloods at all? The cop show, the drama, detective show, Blue Bloods?
No.
Well, Tom Selleck plays the lead character in that, but when he was a young man, he played the lead character in Magnum P.I., and they got a new Magnum coming out, so to give you an idea. It was based in Hawaii, Honolulu. So.
Nice.
And all those cop shows are from Hawaii lately, like Hawaii Five-0, now they got the new one out, so they're going to get the new Magnum P.I.
Can I give a shout out to my foster brother in Hawaii?
Sure.
Mike Bishop and your husband. Whatever you're doing right now, I'm still looking to buy some furniture. So
yeah, on Asaph Cafe. Yeah. Well, send them the link to this. They can see themselves being mentioned on TV.
Oh yeah.
Because you realize this episode will be on TV next week.
Yeah, that'd be good.
You realize that? Okay, I
No.
just want to, if you mention somebody's name, they're gonna hear
No,
the name on television.
he's my. I call him Triple Threat. You know, he's grew up. He was my foster brother in high school.
Okay.
Basically joined the Navy.
Oh, cool.
And then got married to a guy, and now he's living in Hawaii. So.
All right. Well, you'll see this. You'll probably send a link to him later.
Oh
on
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I will definitely do that.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make you a copy on DVD of this taping here first. Then we'll get on the computer and I'll send you the link because I have to load it up. It'll only take a few minutes on that computer out there.
Oh yeah.
And you said you'll be here till 5. It won't take me long. It'll take me about maybe 15 minutes total.
Okay.
You know, I think the slowest thing is just making your DVD copy from on that computer in the back room there. So we can go back there and do that and so on. So you got any other things you want to say? Because we're winging our time now. I'm going to sign off.
I will.
We had it set for 2 hours just in case.
Can I plug my show real quick?
Sure.
You can check me out here or on YouTube, Atomic Frog Productions. You could check out my show, The Witching Hour. I am starting back up. I am working on something new. I had the entire show set up to where I could learn Final Cut 10, and it was a huge debacle. But it's all art, it's all fun.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing something new with the same title. So.
Okay. Well, congratulations. You got your cookbook and you got all this other stuff here, and I'll take my Batman film.
Okay.
I'll see if there's anything on the computer. This was just a fun family. Like I said, Batman has nothing to do with Back to the Future. You had to be there.
Oh yeah.
My mom took me when I was a little boy, when this show was in its heyday in the mid-'60s. And during the heyday of the show, my mom took me actually to see Robin in real life.
Oh wow.
He had his costume on, the way he looked
Oh.
then at this time. Just a little childhood
Yeah.
memory.
I
I was really little. My mom grabbed me by the hand. She took me up to Robin. Hey, Asaph, here's Robin. I was like, Robin.
I think. Have you ever seen Teen Titans?
I know of it.
Oh, growing up, they've had different versions, like different versions of that same genre. Basically, Robin, Batman. They had new characters, whatever.
Yeah.
I growing up been a big fan of Raven. So.
Oh.
Hi, Raven.
So you want to say hi to some folks real quick before we sign off? Anyone you want to say hi to?
I don't have my list, so all I have to say is thank you. Very grateful. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, MCAT's been good to everybody here, like yourself, myself. I don't know if you noticed now, I have the second most recorded television show in MCAT history today.
Nice.
Second only to Emmett, because he's been here longer than me.
Jealousy built a six-pack.
No, that's not jealous. I'm just saying that, it's just congratulations. I just wanted to share that with you. I had the second, and that's cool. I was not aware of that, really. Because I think Emmett's been here, 20 years, something like that? So he's got probably hundreds of shows, I would think.
This place just vibrates talent.
Yeah, there are a lot of talented people that come in and out, like Christian, and of course yourself.
Madu Emblem, Tajbo.
Yeah.
Who else?
I don't know. There's so many I probably wouldn't know because I've only been here for a few years myself now.
Raven Digitalis. Hi. The OAO Temple House.
Yeah, you're getting your little memory back
I'm
there.
doing the best I can to be temple support.
Well, let's just say if there's
no
someone he doesn't mention, that doesn't mean you're forgotten.
Oh yeah.
I put him on the spot, so.
Keep it dark, Raven. Digitalis, not Raven from Teen Titans. No.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Anyway, you got all your friends watching, and they'll see you on here. And anything you want to say about the Back to the Future movies, real quick, before we sign off?
I am looking forward to the new, if it's true,
The new Back to the Future?
the new Back to the Future movie.
Now, are they going to have Michael J. Fox on there?
In the preview I saw, I don't know if it's a hoax or not, but in the preview I saw, he is actually in there.
He may be doing a cameo because his health is not what it once was.
Yeah, well, I'm learning about health and nutrition. I think he's doing the same, so I'm rooting for him. So,
Well, he's using his fortune for a good cause to try to help other people.
Yeah.
Sounds like what you're doing too.
Yeah, I've learned a lot about neurogenesis, and there's mind-body connection that I've learned with ethics and pharmaceuticals and laboratories, all that stuff. So yeah, it's a constant learning process.
Well, now that you're back, we're still taping this cafe every Thursday, so if you ever get the itch want to be on here, what we've been doing is putting ourselves on different backdrops. Like, we've done television shows like I Dream a Genie. I don't know if you would know that show, with Barbara Eden.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I...
The genie.
Make like a high, make a hiney ho, yeah.
Well, anyway, Emmett and I placed ourselves inside the bottle, and we had the real Barbara Eden behind us.
Oh, that's cool.
That's pretty cool. So we were like, I Dream a Genie TV show. And of course, you and I, Back to the Future, and then we did the Batman, we did Star Trek, we put ourselves on the bridge of the Enterprise. That was pretty cool. So that was fun. And just all those other shows of the past, and some more current shows. We're doing the green screen now in the cafe these days, instead of it just being a cafe like it once was. So it's fun. There's so many movies and TV shows from the past that you can put yourself on.
Oh, yeah.
So my point is, anytime you want to do this, if you think of a
Drive.
favorite movie, like, I don't know, Conan, well, we did Conan too. So.
Or Blood Drive, not Dead Drive.
I don't know, we'll think of something. And I've had some other guests that are not necessarily connected with MCAT that just pop in. Like, just last week we had some high school kids here. And then about a month ago or so, they had the Washington Middle School. And so I hosted these kids. And for their backdrop, they wanted to put themselves on an explosion. So we had this nuclear explosion.
Nice. Nice.
And that's what they wanted. So
Cool
we
car.
did this Asaph Cafe. It was this big explosion. It was pretty cool, but they were little kids, like grade school, So it worked. So we've been having a lot of fun here, Just doing stuff. I'm glad you're back though. I'm glad you're doing your stuff here, and I'm glad you're getting healthy too.
Me too.
Out there, you look well. You look very
Thank
well.
you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you do. All right, well, let me just sign out here. I am Asaph Adonai. This is Asaph Cafe, and we have Dan West here sitting in spur of the moment. I recruited him spur of the moment, but he's been on. You've been on a lot of shows in the past, if I recall. I had to look it up.
Yeah. Ascot Live, Wingless Rats, just name a couple.
But I just mean the cafes. You've appeared on this show quite a few times.
Yeah.
From what I remember.
When we first met, it was constant. So.
Yeah. Well, I know, because you were here at the time, but now you're back, and the door's open for you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, I guess I'll sign out. So until our next show, here's Dan here. Next show, Maranatha. I always freeze on that course, so just make yourself at home. I'll shut everything down first, and then you can move, so it won't look tacky. You can just enjoy the background for a few seconds by yourself.
Okay.
I'll be right back.